So with eye tracking software and photography, I've done the same thing as you, Jeff, where I'll take a look at the website, and when I do a redesign of the website, I'll put on some code on there that will track where people's mouse goes on the screen, so that you can see what links they're clicking, what they're looking at, and stuff. So I wanted to apply that same thing to photography, but it's obviously harder because it's not just where the mouse goes on the screen, it's just where their pupils are looking, right? And so I found some pretty cool software that will track people's eye as they're looking at photos. So what I did for this test is I got the software and I showed a photo to a few people for 10 seconds. They would just look at each photo. And what the software would do then is track where their eye went. And I found out some really cool things. I'm sharing all the results in the Lightroom Steel that's going to be released on December 28. I have a great video tutorial on it. But the coolest finding that I found is when you make a shape out of your composition, like, you have a triangle-shaped mountain and you want to show off that strong shape in your composition, people's eyes make this perfect triangle and they'll look around it. It's just really neat. Or also, I looked at like framing, like if you have your composition and you have a tree on both sides of the composition, something like that, then you want to bring people's eyes into the middle. You want to kind of frame out the sides of the composition. This is hard to explain without a visual. This is really hard. But what I learned from it is people's eyes only stay between those two trees. They never actually look at the trees. You'll just kind of trap people's eyes between those two things. And so if your composition, like let's say we have two trees and then between it is just a lake, something kind of ordinary, not real interesting. Well, people aren't really ever going to pay attention to the texture and stuff on that trees because their eyes just kind of stay focused toward the middle of the frame. So it was really neat. Anyway, there are tons of findings that I'm sharing in a new video training called Block Method Composition in the Lightroom Steel in just a couple weeks. But I kind of wanted to just introduce the concept in the podcast and bring out some of the things. So it's pretty cool.
That sounds really cool. That'd be fun to see some of our own photos and how people look at them.
Yeah, I'll take a look if I can recommend the software. The software that I used for it is called Eyes Decide, like EYES Decide, and it uses your webcam. You have to put your face kind of close to the webcam, and then it can track your pupil where you're looking on the screen. So it's kind of cool software. You really could do that, Jeff. You could, sign up. They had a free account even if you want to try with a couple. You could test some of your photos and just have a couple people look at the link that they send you. It was pretty neat.
You don't need a special webcam to do that?
No, you can use any webcam. It has to be lit really well so it can see your eye clearly, and you have to scoot close to the screen. And I found that only about a quarter of the webcams that were tried, it would accept. It has to be pretty high quality and stuff. But I tested it because I wanted to make sure it was really accurate, that we were going to get good results. And it's totally cool. They have a video game on there you can play where it will show like ants walking around on your screen, and you just look at them and it'll pop the ant. It was so cool. Anyway, so it's pretty neat. If you're wanting to really dive into your compositions and learn more about that, check out the Lightroom Steel. That's on November 28th. That's Cyber Monday. It's going to be 72 hours only. We give out a bunch of Lightroom presets, and this video training on composition is going to be in there, which I was just telling these guys before we started, I spent 8 hours editing just the first 19 minutes of the video. I really want it to be good. So I'm not going to be sleeping much in the next week getting it all ready. And Brian, you have some presets coming out in the Lightroom Steel as well. So very cool.
Yeah.